As sick and twisted as Diddy is not locked up for all of the abuse that he has done. Okay, that's not why he's locked up. The reason why Diddy is incarcerated is because he sued the liquor company Diego or Diageo. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, y'all. He sued that liquor company. Okay, so that is why he is incarcerated. Now he should be incarcerated for the crimes that he has been accused of, but that's not why he's incarcerated. He's incarcerated because he sued the liquor company and he won. So for those of you who do not know, Diddy was the face of Ciroc. So these shareholders who own Ciroc, okay, as we all know, Diddy was the brand ambassador for Ciroc, okay? So, you know, Ciroc wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for Diddy, because he was the brand ambassador, okay? These, you know, multi-millionaires and billionaires, they got a lot of pull, okay? And these shareholders, they use Diddy to be the face of Ciroc. So when Diddy realized that it was being used in a sense, okay, I'm not gonna say that he didn't get paid for being the brand ambassador of Ciroc. However, he was not a shareholder for the liquor company or Ciroc. He didn't own. So from my understanding, he took Ciroc to new levels. So he made, you know, probably millions, maybe even billions of dollars for Ciroc, okay? So when Diddy realized that the brand of liquor that he was marketing, when he realized that the shareholders were not setting him up for success and they were not marketing that liquor to communities that were not urban, then Diddy had a problem. So basically they was only marketing towards certain communities or urban communities, or, you know, targeting, he felt like the liquor should have been marketed to different audiences, I should say, to different ethnicities and communities. So when Diddy realized that, you know, the liquor that he was being a brand ambassador for was not being marketed to wherever he felt like the liquor should have been marketed to, Diddy sent his people down to Mexico to investigate. Okay, so when they went down there and they came back and they, you know, told Diddy what was going on, that hey, they only marketing this liquor in certain areas or only marketing to certain people, then Diddy had a problem. So that's when he decided that he was going to sue Diageo.
And I just need the same 24 hours as y'all giving everybody else in your portfolio. And I couldn't get that. I had to send my people down to Mexico. They went down to Mexico, and when they got down there, they found out that there was 0 agave planted for Deleon. So there was no plan for us to be successful. There was no equal treatment. The other brands, they had agave planted. They had no agave planted for me. Sometimes you have to go check even your partners to see what's really going on. And so when I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm gonna fight because it's bigger than me. It's about not just me, it's about we, it's about all of us. So I chose my purpose over profit. And that's the whole Deleon situation.
That's when he decided that he was gonna sue Diageo, and he ended up winning that lawsuit. And so, you know, when he won the lawsuit, these shareholders, they didn't want to come up off their bread, in a sense. They didn't want to have to split their dividends with Diddy and come up off their bread. They didn't want to have to, you know, give him millions. So from my understanding, he won the lawsuit for some type of racial discrimination or something like that. That's what led to his mansion being raided. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that he's not wrong and that he should not be incarcerated. However, I am saying that trust and believe. Diddy been doing this for 30 years. All these allegations that he been accused of, they've been knowing about this. Everybody in Hollywood, they've been knowing, the elite, the people at the top, like your Clive Davises and all these other people, they know how Diddy been getting down for the past 30 years. They been knew how he been getting down for the past 30 plus years, okay? And my thing is this. Yeah, he need to be incarcerated for the crimes that he have committed and the allegations against him. However, he was not pulling the strings by himself. So I feel like everybody need to come down. But okay, you know, we all know everybody ain't gonna come down. And then another thing is, my take on it is too, they're coming after all of the black billionaires, okay? They took down Cosby. I'm not saying that Cosby was guilty or innocent, but they took him down. You know, R. Kelly, I'm not saying he wasn't a predator or a pedo, you know what, because we all know how Kelly get down. But they took R. Kelly down, okay? So in my opinion, they coming after all of the black billionaires, I should say. So it's like you gonna have a handler. And when you get out of line, or when you don't go along with whatever you are told to do by your handlers, or you step out of line, then they're coming for you.
R. Kelly went to jail because Sony Records wanted his catalog. R. Kelly is not in jail for pedophilia, although that's wrong and he should be if he's guilty. But that ain't why he there. White folks been knew he was doing what he was doing. R. Kelly didn't go to jail till R. Kelly start questioning control of his masters.
Me, y'all, I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I get out 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music.
I'm just being honest.
I don't know how to hog tie people. What would I hog tie? You don't want to believe it. How? How can I pay child support? How can I work? How can I get paid? This is not about music. How can I take care of my kids? How can I work? How can I get paid?
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment. Robert. Robert.
Diddy went wrong when he went against that liquor company, and he demanded that for all of his evil deeds, he finally be considered an equal partner. He forgot his skin color. You know, it doesn't matter how many white men you lay with, you're still black in America. And you don't get to call those boys out. See, people aren't really looking at when Diddy's troubles started happening. He became vulnerable with that lawsuit with that liquor company when he demanded an equal share. Kind of like how when Bill Cosby, after all the money he made for NBC, he demanded his equal share. And then here come all the stories and all the lawsuits. It's always the same game. They don't do anyone different. You step out of line, they grab your hand. I think what the elites really didn't count on is that once they wrapped his hand, that he was going to be there to gouge him on the side. Because people have been waiting for Diddy. They've been waiting for their peace. And then you have the opportunist, like your so-called best friend, who has like this odd habit of making friends and making memories and making money and making victims with people, and just keeps on sliding away in their demise, and then assuming all of their power and control. And I'm talking about Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter has been very not so a good friend in the Diddler's downfall. He's been very delinquent, and now all of a sudden he's demanding in-person visits and he can't get them. I wonder why. Sean Combs and Sean Carter are both government informants and have been. They know they do these things. They know they've been doing these things. See, they were just never supposed to get caught out loud, where they, the police can't just cover it all up.
Bill Cosby goes to jail because the second largest oil company in the world wanted to drill under his home in Massachusetts, and he wouldn't let them. And the reason they brought up the lawsuit with the ugly old white women is to financially bankrupt Bill Cosby, so he got to sell the house and the oil company gets the oil. So
Cosby remained defiant, never acknowledging wrongdoing, passing up the opportunity for parole, refusing to participate in sex offender programs. Today, the High Court vacated his conviction, saying that he was a victim of a coercive bait and switch by prosecutors.
When Bill Cosby's attorneys appealed his conviction, one of the things that they said was that he was denied due process because he reasonably relied on a promise from the prosecutor's office not to seek criminal charges. And that's why he made statements that he would not have otherwise made. And as a consequence, those statements were subsequently used against him. That's improper.
It had nothing to do with the jury's verdict. The jury's verdict, I think in my mind, stands.
And that's where there's confusion. People see that Bill Cosby is released, his conviction was overturned, and some people think
Tom is not just because he wanted to buy a major network. Here's another part y'all need to understand. Bill and Camille Cosby purchased a property in Massachusetts in 1971. That property sits on top what is believed to be an untapped source of oil. There is a very large company whose name I'm not going to mention on your show. They're one of the largest energy companies in the world and one of the top energy companies in America. They deal in gas, they deal in petroleum, they deal in oil. They've been begging Bill and Camille Cosby to let them explore and dig under the driveway to their Massachusetts house, and they've been at this for a long time. They intensified their demands around 2014, 2015. They even went to the federal government, and they're now trying to get the federal government to force the Cosbys to let them dig up under their house. The Cosbys are not alone. There's about 400 homeowners up there in Massachusetts who don't want no oil digging and drilling and anything else they want to do up there. I got a significant reason to believe, and the word is out on the street back home in Philadelphia, that part of this conviction had to do with trying to bankrupt Bill Cosby to force them to sell the Massachusetts house so the oil company could have its way. See, I don't have a problem with the fact that Miss Constant waited a year before she told the police. I'm a therapist. I'm in mental health. I'm a doctor of psychology. I know trauma and how it affects people. Your behavior afterwards is not always logical. What makes the Cosby conviction different from any other rape case is one glaring fact. She's white. He's black. The white woman in America is the most privileged human being in this society. The black man in America is the most discredited, maligned individual in this society. We are considered guilty, and then we have to prove our innocence. Not only that, black men have a history of being falsely accused to be sexually uncontrollable with a lust for raping white women. How many black men been lynched for that, although they were innocent? So you mean to tell me that this white woman, who is not no poor, broke white woman, she was over Temple University basketball operations. You were sexually abused by the most famous black man in American television history, and you say nothing for a year. You go back, you continue to communicate with this man, so forth and so on. You're not going to convince me that a white woman is going to wait to tell on DJ Envy if you assaulted her. You can't convince me that a white woman is going to...
Mr. Cosby, how does it feel to be home?
Well, he's extremely happy to be home. He looks forward to reuniting with his wife and his children. And obviously, this has been a hard 3 years for this entire...
Hey, what's Selena say? She say, diddy dun dun.
I'm fighting for my life.
Diddy dun dun.
Yo, killing me with this.
Diddy, he dun dun. Diddy, he dun dun. Cause that is. Hey.
Y'all trying to kill me.
Cause that is on his ass.
You're killing me, man. This ain't not about